What?
Yeah. All right. Hey, folks, this is Price is Wrong, and this is the Battle Pirates BB Roundtable. Today, we definitely want to do the year in review, but we do have probably a couple other topics that we should touch on first real quick. And I've been watching the chat, and as well as the other guys over here with me, and we do have a few of the Arbiters here. We got Extreme XC29. Tonight we're calling them X-Split because we have another X on who's all the way down at the end, and we're going to call him X1 because that's what he's telling us. His picture has a number 1 on it. And then we got Vlad.
Good evening, everybody.
Yep. We also got White Star.
Evening, everybody.
And Damnation.
Hey, guys.
Then we also have Toxic on here with us. He's a regular.
G'day, how's it going?
And everybody knows Nemo. I think he's still running for president, but I'm not sure. I haven't seen any ads lately. So
Blades for raids still.
Blades for raids, yep. Evil Kiwi, long time, man, since we've had Evil Kiwi on here.
Hey guys, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. And another regular we have is Phantom Menace.
Hello.
And I think I already said X number 1, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I guess the first topic that we probably ought to spend a few minutes on has been really popular over here in the chat, and that is the Draconian Coax. So the Draconian Coax. You know, I know you don't see near as many base hit videos as we used to, so it's kind of hard to go back a few weeks and look at that to see if that thing ever did fire like it advertised, which was 5 times per second. It had a reload of 0.2. And so I don't know if it ever actually did fire that fast. I know, recently I guess people were saying that it was only shooting at one time per second, and rather than adjust it to where the turret matched the blueprint, they changed the blueprint to modify the turret and said it was just a graphical error rather than not a nerf. So I don't know. Is there anybody on here that like coined a whole bunch of those things and had the Draconian Coax turrets like when they first came out?
I've got 2.
And
I've got 3.
Did you coin them in, or?
I coined them in. So, and I also used the token that you get from missions. But I've noticed in the 85 hubs, they fire damn fast. Up to hours. Hours are slow, but you go into the 85 hubs with their coaxial turrets in there. Damn, they fire fast to stop your missiles.
Do you recall if your Draconian Coax in your bases ever fired that fast when you first put them in? Did they seem like they fired 5 times a second back then?
No, because back then the people were struggling to get down to the middle of my island. So.
Okay, so they didn't get much action.
No.
I remember some.
Look like they're firing.
Now they don't even look like they're firing?
No, mine haven't looked like they've fired once since I put them in.
Now there was somebody. I don't remember who it was. My memory's trying to tell me it was Vlad, but my memory's terrible. Okay, but I remember somebody saying if you had like 3 of those things in your base, Rhino fleets were just stopped pretty much dead in the water.
Yeah, I was the one who said that. That was based on a report from one of my alliance mates.
Okay.
That was 2 of them would stop a Rhino fleet. The salvos wouldn't get through. When I first got mine, I didn't coin mine. I built mine normally. When I first got the second one in, I got hit shortly afterward, and it did stop a Rhino fleet, pretty much in its tracks. I just don't have anything. I don't know where I would have fallen on the line of where the fire rate change was made, though, because I built both those normally through time.
Well, I guess just in general, I mean, I do see frustration from the community. Okay, I've been hearing a lot about this over the last couple of weeks, and even now in the chat, I'm seeing folks over there. But I mean, I guess really, when it was advertised before we ever, had the option to win these things, right? When we had the option to win these, they were advertised as shooting 5 times per second, and a lot of people did spend quite a bit of coin to win them. I know I didn't spend any. I got all 5 blueprints. And I didn't spend any money. and then I put them in slow. I actually only put one in so far. It's just everything takes so freaking long on Battle Pirates. I just haven't gotten around to it anymore. So I've actually only done one. So I'm just saying I don't have a whole heck of a lot of room to complain, but a lot of people do. And
I've got a
go
question. How long have these now coaxial turrets been out? 3, 4 months?
I think 2 months.
And it's taken them 2 months just to change a picture.
Yeah, just
Wow.
just a graphical error, just a blueprint. It took them 2 months to fix that.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's another thing. You know, they're like, well, how come if it was a graphical error, why did it take 2 months to fix? So.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I don't know what to say, folks. I mean, really, I wanted to spend a few minutes on here. I wanted to spend a few minutes on here just to make sure that, you know, we put it here, you know, small segment, right up front, something for Kickside to watch. And, you know, just so they could understand where the community's coming from. I know on the forums, it's like, you know, it's really tough to get your message out on the forums these days just because, you know, if people don't agree with you, they kind of shout you down. And, or I don't know, they'll timestamp your thread or whatever, you know, what happens on there. But, you know, I'm kind of hoping. I've actually heard that there's been some positive changes in the way forum mods act just since the Thursday show. So I'm hoping, you know, we actually did have a positive effect there, but I guess we'll see.
I'm also hoping some of them learned basic math.
Yeah. I'm not going to dwell on that. I don't want to put any kind of labels or put anybody in a box or anything like that. You got to get people room to grow, and instead of making them live with a label. But you know, I don't know. I wanted to give it a few minutes. I don't know if anybody else has got anything on here they want to say about Draconian coax turrets.
Yeah, well, I got hit yesterday by a fleet with an Aegis. Had a HC in it and 3 Neptunes. I couldn't even kill one of the boats, and I've got 2 of them that are in there. And I've also got some antis on some of the ships that I've got on guard. I've got 2. I've got 1 Enforcer. I've got the Wrath, and I've got 2 Mastodons and a V2H. And he just blew straight through me. Didn't even get 50% on his fleet, and that's with 2 coaxials in there. So if they worked, I have to rewatch the video, but it didn't look like they did.
All right.
Well, as I said, I can't even tell if they're firing or not. I've watched all my replays and that, and I can't even see them firing. I've actually thought about changing them out.
I actually counted mine.
When you go into an 85, you can actually see them. They fire faster than you
you can see them in there, but
yeah.
Okay.
I just get this feeling when we first got them, ours worked like the ones that were in the 85s, and then they nerfed ours, and now they're changed the blueprint to reflect the nerf that they did. It's kind of what I get the feeling of.
Okay.
Something went wrong with one of the updates, and they can't figure out what's gone wrong. Possibility.
Either way, I feel like the changing the blueprint was the Jedi mind trick. You know, no, this isn't really what you got when you got it.
You know, it kind of kills me too when you think about. I mean, because Kickside has a trust deficit. They're aware that they have a trust deficit. They're aware they acknowledge that they've earned their trust deficit. But it's just when things like this happen, it just seems like, well, that's not what was intended or whatever. It seems like that is like the routine go-to, you know, and I just don't understand how they plan to keep their players happy. You know, I mean, sometimes it actually almost feels to me like, you know, they don't want to come to work. They don't want to have to deal with the players or anything. I just feel like, you know, they'd rather be doing something else, or so. I mean, I don't want to speak for them, but it does seem like sometimes that we just don't feel very appreciated. You know, is my mic screwed up?
Yes, so this is typing that now.
Just a little bit.
Possibly.
All right. Well, it should be better now, right?
Yeah.
All right, good. All right. So, was there anything else, or should we go ahead and get into the start with the year in review?
Well, I wanted to mention something else as well that I didn't cut on until after the Thursday show. It's something that Harry mentioned about these new elite Drac bases. That apparently it's taking loads and loads of ships just to kill the outsides. And then Harry mentioned that, yeah, probably 6 months down the line, we'll have the tech, ships, and weapons to kill them. Well, that's going to set us back another 6 months again. Everything's going to get out of hand again.
Oh, so you're talking about most of the people I know can't even get to the Drac uranium bases.
Yeah.
So you're talking about, right now the Drac uranium bases are overly tough. But
Yes.
the thing is, 90% of the sectors can't get them open. Probably more than that. I really don't know. But I've only heard of 1 or 2 sectors that have managed to get them open. And it's because it just seems like, you go out and you hit your cargo to get your sector bar up to yellow. And then so the armadas start spawning, and then it's like, I know in my sector where I'm at right now, we were kind of going crazy with the 75s, and we actually had some big hitters that were just basically prepping 75s and letting other people take them out, loading everybody up with uranium, and still couldn't get the uranium bases open.
Agreed, but I was talking more about of another power creep, like the state of the game. So basically, 6 months down the line, we're going to have crazy ships and weapons again.
Yeah. I don't think there's any getting around that. The power creep of the game, I don't see going anywhere.
Well.
Yeah. I don't see it, because it seems like Kixeye, that's the one trick that they know is power creep, and they don't seem to know anything else.
I mean, I can't say.
Sorry.
No, you go.
No, I was just going to say, it seems like they've gone from creeping to leaping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with the new carriers and them drones as well. God, are they totally OP?
I did two percentage points to a fleet coming into my base. That was the crappiest I've ever done to anybody's fleet coming into my base. And at that point, it was like, really? They want me to start considering building a defense? It's not going to happen. There's no point. I actually canceled my one coaxial. I was like, well, what's good's that going to do me? I went through all that work to get them, and there's no point in building them. None. Too far behind to catch up with less than a couple $1,000s worth of, and that's the thing. I'm not going to put in any more money. I'm done. That was the end of it.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that, Price. I just had to mention it.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I think we did kind of, but I think we had agreed to probably bring up that sector threat bar anyway, also today. But so I don't know. It just seems like I'm not convinced that it's working properly everywhere, and I don't know how to articulate that to give it any kind of, because it just seems like if you don't come to Kixeye with proof, you don't get anywhere. They kind of just dismiss you, and I'm just not convinced that it's working correctly, and I don't know how to convince them that it's not working correctly, and I don't know.
I quite agree with you, Price, because it's how would you prove that sort of thing? Because it's all they were asked for is videos. So what are you going to do? Video for 3 or 4 hours?
Yeah.
Well, I noticed today when I was hitting the fleets on the map and trying to get the sector bar up, that once the sector bar is up, that when you click on a cargo, that there's no more. It says it's not a threat, so you're not gaining anything.
Yeah, you do have to completely quit hitting. Or you don't completely quit hitting cargoes, but they don't no longer contribute to your sector threat bar. Once you get up to yellow, the only way to keep it going is to keep hitting armadas. That's the only way to keep it yellow.
I had something this morning. Now my sector, we lost our yellow somewhere along the way. I went to another sector, and all they had up was 75s. They were right on the edge, and I hit a 75 and killed it with tiger sharks. And I went to go to the next one, which was less than 30 seconds away. And in that 30 seconds,
Blow up.
That sector lost its yellow. You'd think with hitting a 75 would be enough to keep the sector bar yellow at least another 30 seconds so you could get to the next 75.
Now, if you're not yellow, do you get any uranium?
No, well, if you're not yellow, you don't get any Drac Armadas, so the only place you're getting uranium is from either the regular Drac bases or from the elite cargo.
What I'm saying is if you're not yellow and you hit another sector's target, I don't believe you get any either.
Oh, no, you do. You do.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
You can go to another sector and steal their Armadas.
Yeah.
Well,
And really, you're probably...
Contribute to the sector bar, though. If you hit an Armada in another sector, it won't contribute to your sector points. Of the sector bar in your sector. It will go to theirs.
I wasn't really worried about that. I was more worried about the fact I needed
Uranium.
I needed uranium to start a research because the 140,000 that they wanted to suck out of me for the research.
Well, that's the problem we're having is by the time we get the bar up, we get 260s and about 12 75s. The 260s are gone, and by the time more of them spawn, we're not yellow anymore.
Yep.
It just seems like as long as there's one or two sector that it's working right in, that they're not going to do anything to fix it because they don't believe the other hundreds of people who are telling them it's not working right. They're going to be like, oh, look at this sector right here. It's working fine.
I don't think it isn't. I think it's working exactly as they intended. I believe that they are trying to force us into hitting the 75s. That they don't want it. They realize the 60s are too easy, and they don't want us to hit them anymore. Well, the 60s really aren't too easy unless you're an endgame player with a fleet that you paid up front for. And there they go again, disrespecting the front end investment. Well, these 100 level players have got these fleets and they can go in and do the 60s for 15 minutes. You can't have that. Well, those 100 level players paid for that right when they coined those fleets out.
We're players. We don't have no rights.
Yeah, well, that's pretty obvious.
All right.
Well, I went yesterday. I went through sectors 1 to 14, and then I went up to the 30s, to the 50s, and 90s, all the way to 99. And I must have gone through about 30 sectors, and none of them were in the yellow. Because I'm in desperate need of uranium. I've got bugger all left. I couldn't find anyone that had any armadas out. Some of them didn't even have a blue bar on. So that's how little participation there is.
Well,
So
somebody was saying in chat about thorium again. It's being brought up, and this is the same road they went down. So they're noticing that is still the same thing. I think, like I said, they've learned a lot of bad things from other games, and it hasn't taught them anything. I agree with Vlad. This is not good. This could be the nail in the coffin for a lot of players.
All right. All right. Well, I think we definitely touched on the two major topics, which were the sector threat bar and also the draconian coax turret. Those were two major topics that I know few people wanted to talk about. The show today, what we're trying to do, we don't have any more Thursday shows left in the year. Our next one's not until January. I think January 7th is our next Thursday show. And but we are going to do a couple of these roundtables. This here being part one. We're going to get into start talking about the works in progress, and we're just going to do the first 6 months today, January through June. I don't know. It's just trying to see if we can find some highlights, and stuff like that. I know in January we basically part of the work. It was a really slim work in progress. I mean, there really wasn't a whole lot to it. There was the retrofit pack 14. There was some Forsaken mission content drop that happened, and then there was the Hellgate, which was the event, January event, and Forsaken Arena tournament. And there was 2 armors and 1 weapon in January. I think they were added, and Doom Rooster was also brand new back then. He started in January. But looking at the, let me see here. I'm trying to see. Let's see if I can look at the exact list. It's 3 new blueprints, and it's just a pair of turret reinforcements and a new weapon. It's really all it says on here, on the January works in progress. But I don't think there's really anything huge there, you know, other than Doom Rooster joining, becoming our new CM. So, at any time, if anybody wants to say something about anything, just it's fine. Just say the word. I know February was also pretty big. There was a lot going on in February. We did have another retrofit pack. I think we did retrofit packs for a while, didn't we? I'm trying to remember exactly when we quit them. I think we might have quit them like in maybe in September. But we generally had retrofit packs every month. And we had time-limited campaigns. In February, it looks like I think that's when they started. We had to let it burn in a going rogue. And let me see the Grim. Go ahead.
The fat. We also got that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The fat. And that was brand new. That HAP started in January too, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Let me see. We did get the Grimshine Wrath, and it was introduced in February. World map targets won't be quite as generous as they were in January. This is for the event. they I guess as far as points go, they reduced the points in February for the world map targets. I think they were trying to push everybody towards campaigns back then.
Yeah.
And well, were we even doing campaigns yet? I don't remember.
Reavers, weren't the map targets Reavers back then, if I remember correctly?
Yeah, they were. They were Reavers, yeah.
Bring them back.
You know, everybody was so sick of Reavers, man.
I know.
Yeah, everybody was so sick of Reavers, and it's just amazing that you know they hate the Scourge a whole lot more. Let's see. I see Unstable Core, Apocalypse Mortar. So all that was in February.
Were that the first Reaver raid targets, were they, in the new year?
No.
At the start of this year? Or did
No,
it start
I don't believe
before?
so.
I can't remember now.
Yeah, the Reavers have been around for a little bit longer than that.
They were around for a long time because everybody was getting fed up, weren't they?
Yeah. I know in March we had basically more time-limited campaigns. We had like we had a VXP repair reduction. So it looks like the VXP repair specialists were introduced, I think, in March. And I don't know. I still, I kind of feel like even then the rewards. That's, to me, it seems like that's when they first started rewarding only the top tier of player. You know, the people who were doing. I kind of feel like that's where it started. Is because most people didn't get any relief. The only people that got any relief were the folks that had elite fleets, and those are mainly the folks that were interested in coining rank. They were the ones that got a break on repair. And,
basically, if you had skulled fleets, then you was gaining more benefit from the VXP repair reduction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We had the Apocalypse event in March. It was called Apocalypse. Starting objectives got an overhaul. I really didn't have any kind of experience with that because that's for new players. I mean, only new players are the ones that saw that.
Yeah.
Let It Burn campaign was introduced, I think, in March. And now, of course, there was another Forsaken Arena tournament. Forsaken Arena turns for pretty much every month, right? All the way up until the only month we missed one this year was November. They were supposed to end them completely in September, but they didn't, right? We still had them in October. Then November we missed one, and then we're going to have it again this month. So
yeah, we had them for fun. I remember.
Yeah. They Doom Rooster came out and announced that the fat was done, and then exactly 4 weeks later, the fat was back. They never missed a beat. Didn't miss a week.
Yeah.
Also, March, I think, was the first time we got introduced to was it Dredge Fleets?
Dredge Fleets, yep.
Yep.
Yep, we had Dredge Fleets in March. Earths, unidentified raiding fleets, were in March. Yep. So Dredge Fleets were brand new in March, it looks like. And, of course, we did have another retrofit pack.
seem to have done away with retrofit packs now, aren't they, again?
Well, yeah, they did away with retrofit packs. That was one of those things where, they were trying to reduce content, which I think that was not really content. That was enhancing stuff that we already had to basically help. They just removed benefits, right?
Yeah.
So it just seems like, again, they just took. It seems like whenever they measure, you try to figure out what to do next. It's like whenever they measure, it's they always seem to opt to pull value out of Battle Pirates for some reason, and I don't understand that. Anything that provides value to the players, what they like to get rid of. I don't get it. That's the kind of thing that makes me feel sometimes that they don't really appreciate us that much.
Well, does anybody else find a weird correlation that what I considered to be the worst year in Battle Pirates was also the year that Doom Rooster started? I'm just saying.
Yeah. Shots fired.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Yeah.
It's your opinion.
I definitely feel like 2015 has definitely been the worst year for Battle Pirates. I mean, I thought last year was bad, but this year was definitely much, much worse than last year.
I think everybody were realising we were just getting too much to coin, and the fun was way, way down, and it wasn't worth it.
To me, it was. I'm sorry. To me, it seemed like the year was more about giving benefits to those that coined the most and that needed it the least, and the ones that needed the relief got the opposite effect from the same things. I mean, we the players that didn't put in much are now urged to put in less, not more, because our money isn't going to go as far as it used to. So why bother putting any in?
I disagree with her because to me it seemed like they wanted to get the new content in, like you said, for the coiners, but to make coiners pay more. So it wasn't beneficial in a way.
Well, like now with the time, we don't have a time reduction; we have a cost reduction, and I do know that we do need a cost reduction as well. But nobody, I mean, I'm not going to say nobody was saying it needs to get cheaper, but everybody was saying the times need to get shorter. Shorter meaning smaller, not the same, but costing less. Shorter as in shorter. Simple.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I seen like there was a comment in the chat about maybe you can't say the devs are incompetent, but quite honestly, I mean, if you can afford it, would the game be fun? Can you afford to? I mean, now I will say there's a lot of things that the developers are doing wrong as well too. Obviously graphical errors on blueprints, for example, draconian coax, anyone, right? So who really screwed up there? That was probably most likely a developer error, right? If we're to believe what Doom Rooster's saying, and the moderator team. Now the moderator team, they all report to Doom Rooster. Doom Rooster, he's the go-between between Kixeye and us. So all the moderators report to him.
It's all right saying that, but what's happened to the Q&A team then? Shouldn't everything what gets done go to Q&A to get tested?
Yeah, I don't know if there is a Q&A team. I mean, we talk about that all the time. I don't really know if there is a Q&A team because it just seems to me that it makes me wonder if the developers do their own Q&A. You know what I mean? I kind of touched on that on Thursday. It seems to me that basically, it's up to the developer to say, yeah, I did a good job. You
can't do that in business. Yeah. You can't.
Yeah.
It creates a bottleneck. I mean, if you get all the information filtering through one person, it comes to a point where it's got to stop. You just can't get enough through, and whatever trickles through, it might not be the right stuff. So how do you expect for that to work properly?
They give the developers a big red rubber stamp says, "Yep, this works," and they go thunk, and that's the end of it.
Yeah. That's a shame. So then we're just kind of expected, or we have to rely on the developers to take pride in their work and double check it and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know how much of that actually gets to happen either, because it just seems like these guys are always stressed to push out as much content as they can.
Well, I totally agree with what Toxic said. I don't know if anybody was listening there, but if it's going through one person who thinks that, say, for instance, Forsaken Arenas are fun, that they're no longer, if it's going through a person who thinks that, what are the odds of anything really fun happening?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I definitely get what you're saying because he is our filter. He's our filter. If he doesn't approve of the feedback, it doesn't make it to where it's got to go. But then he's got to be able to acknowledge that, articulate it to the people who need to hear it, right? And if it's not something that he believes in, then because he was, he didn't really make it a secret. I don't think that he doesn't play the same game we play, because he was playing for the longest time with unlimited gold. That's not the same game anybody else plays.
Well,
So he doesn't play
remember,
the same game. So it's easy for him to have fun. Is all I'm saying.
when he used to say, "Oh yeah, that target was fun," and then we'd all cringe because we knew what that meant.
Well, yeah, and it's just like that video that they put out too, right? When the Scourge first came out, and then everybody was complaining about how bad the Scourge were, and they put out the videos like, Scourge aren't hard to watch. They went in there and killed it with a V2H fleet, 2 V2H fleets. It's like, see? We're like, uh-huh.
And
Yeah,
like,
you just
R16.
You just killed off 2 level 48 R16 fleets. Yeah, that's easy.
Yeah. But I don't know. I guess we're kind of straying off topic just a smidge, but probably for the better. I'm having a hard time making this work in progress stuff
last.
Yeah.
and like, how many times have we had to argue with them for months that something wasn't working right in the game, and like hundreds of us would tell them, and they'd be like, "No, it's working fine. No, it's working fine." And then eventually they would come back and be like, "Yeah, about that. That's not working." I mean,
Well,
I know, I've seen that a couple times.
It took them 6 months to admit that the UAVs weren't supposed to retarget.
And
it took them 6 months to admit that. Remember?
Yeah, and it's just like they never want to admit that we might know something they don't, and that's the problem.
There's more experts in the community than they have on their team. They don't have nowhere near as many experts that we do.
Well, it's during the first 6 months of the year that we had the great Reaper nerfing. That they finally had to admit that, oh no, that's not really working as intended, and I know Robot said that because I didn't start building those till after he said it was working as intended. And then, oh well, we really can't have you doing this, so we're just going to change everything.
Yeah, somebody's on here talking about the Reapers. I thought they're probably talking about the cloak efficiency cap.
Yeah, I added that onto the last of the slides, so.
Oh yeah, so that's in here.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So that's coming. It's coming.
That is coming.
That shows you that there is a need for a test server. I mean, had Kix have had a test server for this last raid, how many glitches would we have found, or would they have found, the people on the test server, that had occurred? I mean, how much money has Kix really lost with all these glitches? And I think because we're showing them up and they're losing money, that's why they make it harder the next raid, so that they want to get that money back that they've lost for being silly, and that's why raids get harder and harder and harder. Well, that's my theory anyway.
I mentioned it on Thursday's show, that Toxic. Last month, Price had permission to broadcast it as well. They had the test server and they also had the pre-server. No problems during the raid. Really, as such. This month, none of those, and look how many bugs and problems we had. It's like going backwards again. Not forwards, backwards.
And they have to know that, look at how many people watched that video. Thousands, half the population of the game watched that video. So that's how desperate they are to get information. We are watching for information, but we're having to go through so much to get it that it's ridiculous. That it's lacking in information. They say they want communication. They still have yet to go anywhere near what we need.
I'm looking at the April work in progress right now.
Your microphone.
Right, your mic.
Just a second.
No probs. Filling in.
All right. Is it fixed?
Yeah.
All right. Man, I just got it's a brand new headset, and I don't have this problem anywhere else. All I got to do to fix it, just so everybody knows, because everybody's like, man, you got to buy a junk headset. But the truth is, it's not my headset. It's Google. All I got to do is change my setting. I've only got one microphone on my system, and there's 3 different options in Google, and I just jump from one option to the next every time I have an issue. So, and that's how I fix it. So, but anyway, the April work in progress, White Star. I think you might have grabbed the April Fool's one version.
Oh dear.
And I only saw. I'm only because I'm looking. Base snapshots were added to the game. All you got to do now is simply click the window you want to capture, and then press the Alt key with print screen simultaneous. I'm like, yeah, you got the April Fool's, man.
Joke's on us. There is no April work in progress.
Yeah.
Let me actually. I think I did do a search on here, so let me see if I can find it on my list real quick.
No problem.
No. Yeah, I don't have it here handy.
I don't mind.
All right. Well, anyway, so I don't know what happened in April. Maybe we'll have to talk about April next month or next week. All right. We'll just go to May. So May, I know there was more campaigns during the weekend. The time limited campaigns. They added tokens to Forsaken missions, so tokens became a thing in May. Now, a question. I mean, you guys all think that was a good thing or a bad thing?
Good. If you could, well, good if you had the fleets and, well, the tech to do them basically twice to get the tokens.
Yeah.
Tokens are great if they ever put them in the game for us to get.
I still have yet to get a token from a Forsaken mission.
You know, the one thing me personally, I always thought the tokens were a good thing, but they weren't a solution. And I only say that because it's basically it's nothing that is on us. We basically have to we rely on Kickside to make them available at their leisure, right? It's at their mercy that we get tokens. So it was never a fix for anything. And
well, that's another example of what I was saying. They're giving rewards to those that can get Tier 4. So they're giving relief to those that need it the least. And it's not really relief. It's just another way of saying, here's another bonus for spending what you spent to get it. Because a lot of people still aren't getting Tier 4. They're no closer than they ever were.
Yeah.
And here's my thing about tokens is we had Doom on. It might have been the last time he was on. And we had a little chat about build times and working on build times. And Doom made it pretty clear that they thought that the whole token thing was a big part of fixing build times. And it's not. And that's why I think tokens aren't a good thing, is because Kicksai is convinced that tokens are a big part of the build time solution. And when the solution of fixing build times is to reduce the build times.
Well, that comes down to perspective then, doesn't it? I mean, if you think about it, because the one good thing that I will say about tokens is when you're going through Tier 1 and you're going through Tier 2 and you already have everything, at least you're getting something now.
Yeah.
You know, so, I mean, that's how I look at it. At least you're getting something. I think that it's great, so long as it's not being viewed as a solution to anything, you know.
And in that, I would agree with you. It's a nice addition to the game. It's a nice little reward. It's not the fix, but Kix is convinced that it's a big part of the fix, and it shouldn't be.
Okay, look at it this way. Now, White, how many ship build tokens have you gotten, just at a rough guesstimate, out of the elite, the Forsaken missions?
Loads.
Just at a rough estimate.
Loads. I can't count. Loads. Because I do them twice, you see. So I do it. I get the 100 million. But
yeah,
that's
I
me.
didn't have the tech to do them the first few weeks, so I fell behind. And up to this day, I've not gotten one ship build token out of the Forsaken mission. So to me, it's a total waste. And people that don't have the tech just don't get the tokens.
And don't forget that Kix is working on taking them away from you. Because don't be fooled, the reason we're getting 4 now instead of 3 additions to the elite is to make sure that to keep up you have to run through at least twice, and there's no way to get more than 2 sets of the elite tokens per month.
We've had 4 for a while now, for a good 3 months in the elites. We had 4 last month as well.
It did start out as 3, though. They keep trying to say it didn't, but there was a point in time when it was only 3.
Well,
I don't know what they say.
I know. Just looking at the January, there was only 3 things added in January. Going through the work in progress, it mentioned. If I go back to January, it says.
Yeah, but when was the elite tier added? I can't remember when that added. I don't think it was in January that elite tier was added.
No, January was still old school.
Yeah, they gave us the ability to do it twice to let people catch up. That went for a month or 2, and then they started it. Then it wasn't 3 anymore. Then it was 4. So it did start out with you only had to do it once a week to keep up. You just didn't get anything extra. And now if you only do it once a week, you will fall behind.
Yeah.
From what I remember, it was during a Christmas ride that they've missed a week, and we only got 2 new things in the month. And to compensate for that, they put in 4. And I remember that Liam was on the show and was talking about that. And for them to compensate to get the 3rd one, and they made it 4, and it sort of seemed to stick. And from that day onwards, we seem to have gotten 4 for the elite tier every month. And now it's of course harder to keep up. Yeah? And if you're behind, then you've got no hope of keeping up because you got the raids in between that stop you.
Yeah, and then they started it off with, well, then we have this reserve thing. Once you get the other 3, then you can get this cool prize as the 4th one, but you have to be completely caught up to get it. And now it's just, well, hell, screw you. We're going to give you 4 every month. We're not even going to have any pretense about it.
No, they brought that in first of all with the one of the cannons, the ballista cannon. Then it went back down to 3 prizes, and then they brought it back to 4 prizes with the scattergun cannon. And now again this month we're back to 4 prizes. And yeah, I didn't think the tokens were a fix, but they were a good thing to get. And they're slowly phasing them out the game. One raid we could get 10 days worth in one of the raids a few months back. Then it's gone back down to 7, and then this month absolutely none. We're not getting the time-limited campaigns for them. You know, one month I got 25 days worth of ship build tokens, which is a good thing to get, but they've taken it right out.
You know, I gotta say something. You know, I'm not a big coiner, okay, and I know we have a few dirty. You know, obviously Dirty Harry's a big coiner, but. You know, I understand the complaint about putting tokens like in Tier 4, the build tokens, but the people that actually invest into the game, is there a reason why you feel like they don't deserve the rewards if it's not open to everybody? You know, I mean, or do you think their ability to actually have value in the game should be reward enough? Or, I mean, sometimes I'm just not sure why if everybody. I don't know, maybe it's just frustration that we all don't get to play the same game. Maybe that's what it is. I really don't know. I know once upon a time, as players, we were all a lot more equal, you know, because there wasn't quite as much value to be had. You know, there weren't as many advantages available for purchase once upon a time, and so we were all a lot more equal. But you think? I'm just trying to understand, you know, or maybe somebody here can articulate a little bit better than I can.
I think, like you said, Tier 4 is geared towards the heavy coiners, which it shouldn't be. I'm a heavy coiner myself. I think it's totally wrong. I think them tokens really should have been in Tier 3, but that's me. So everybody could have got a decent chance of getting them. It's to me an excuse, because if you notice, some months we don't even get prizes now in Tier 1, Tier 2 and Tier 3 to get anymore. It all seems to be in Tier 4 or the Elite. Whatever.
And when they bought Tier 4 out, that was supposed to be for the really good prizes, you know, the stuff for the top people to get. And now they just put everything in Tier 4 in the Elite. You know, it should be spread about.
Half of them are crap prizes anyway. You don't even want to touch.
Yeah, I got explosive. I got explosive system for this week so far.
Whoa!
Yeah, I'm like, what does freaking do? That should have been in the research lab anyway. It shouldn't have been a tier elite prize, but.
Well, I mean, I don't consider I don't consider myself a heavy coiner by any means, and I do the Forsaken mission twice every single week. I use Crusaders to do it. So, if you got Crusaders, you can do the Forsaken mission twice a week.
Well, then you just got to have the time, because I mean, then you just got it comes down to time versus life and all that stuff, and I think that's a lot. The complaint a lot of people have is like, if Battle Pirates isn't your life, and then you need coin.
Well, no, you don't really even have to have that much time. You go out and you do it for like 45 minutes or whatever, and you put your fleet into repair, and you come back and do it 45 minutes the next day. So it's not like you're sitting there grinding it out for, like 12 hours out of the day or whatever. You're taking 45 minutes and docking your fleet and repairing it.
But you had to get the Crusaders first. You had to build them. Then you had to do everything else. And that's the thing. The seat time is not being seen as value to Kixeye. It used to be you could put in a reasonable amount of cash to the game and get a reasonable amount of benefit. Now I think Kix has got it to where if you don't spend this amount of money, you may as well just not bother.
I mean, just during the weekly campaign, I mean, I felt this week it wasn't so bad. I did it hit 16 targets and spent 48 coin.
Yeah, but what the main thing is about the Forsaken mission. Fair enough, the big coiner should get the big reward. That's all well and good. And if you get to tier 4, you get your 4 or 5 tokens, ship build tokens or whatnot. But what about tier 3? Why can't they put 1 or 2 ship build tokens in there? What about tier 2? Put a ship build token in that, so that the lower levels who can only reach that can have some of the tokens too.
Toxic. Why should the coiners get the better stuff though? Why?
Well, to be true, they're the ones that are paying for the game, right? So.
Well, we should all have access. I mean, I think I definitely see what like Nemo was saying, because he's like the butt time's not being appreciated here, and so basically, what when you put everything in tier 4, and the time is limited, right? That means and you have to put the butt time in to get to there. You know what I mean? And I don't. It just sounds like a lot of people can't reach 50 million in the 72 hours is what the complaint here is. So basically, it's basically saying that if you're not willing to spend, or whether it be on the front end with the fleets or whatever, basically people are just not having access to these top prizes that they need to be able to get the top prizes.
Exactly. That's why there should be something similar to it. Like, not all the top prizes should be in all the tiers, but the top prize for a tier 2 player is totally different to a top prize for a tier 4 player or an elite player. There is differences, but there should also be coins, or not coins, but tokens, ship build tokens. You get, I don't know, 4 or 5 if you hit the elite tier twice. Why isn't there something that for the player that they can only reach the tier 2? Why can't he get at least one ship build token? If he does that twice,
like a 12-hour.
That's what I'm talking about.
Like a 12-hour token, ship build token.
Something like that. Yeah. It's just that the lower levels will never get a ship build token. Yet there is a lot of them on offer in the elite tier. So that's what I'm saying, and that's what I think the consensus is from the other players.
Totally agree with you there, because do we really want research tokens? Do we really need build tokens? I mean, a lot of us don't worry about that. Our main concern is building ships and repairing ships, not building a turret in our base that's going to take 12 days and whoopee, we can knock a day off it, or 12 hours. I'd rather have that as ship build tokens.
Well, wouldn't it be cool if they just get rid of tokens and just change it to gold, and then you can use it on anything you want?
Yeah, no, totally.
Well, it just needs to be a token. It doesn't need to be coins or gold. Just a token, and then you use the token as you wish.
Yeah.
I know I'm not going to score any points here, but I don't care if they double the cost of the game and drop the time in half. That way they won't lose any money, because that seems to be all they care about. But at the same time, they also won't lose as many players.
No, I think they'll still lose players, because if you drop the time in half but double the coin, you're still paying out the ass.
Yeah, exactly.
It keeps the cost the same, but the time comes down.
No, it doesn't, because you're paying double, like you just said.
No. If I charged you $10 to build this fleet, but then made the coins half as valuable, but then charged you less coins, it comes out to the same cost. Still going to be $10. The only thing is, it's not going to be 20 days. It's going to be 10 days.
You didn't say that. You said double.
Well, that's kind of what I. Yeah. Well, I just meant double the efficiency of the time versus the coin.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Back to the May work in progress. we did have the sector bar. I think that was. I don't know. Not sure if it was introduced in May, but I do see a mention of it in the May work in progress. I didn't have the April work in progress. So, in the May work in progress, it does mention the sector bar, and then basically it can be unlocked to get the sector store open and all that stuff, and I don't know how many people remember that, but well, I'm sure everybody remembers that. But I do recall that they also made it so that if you managed to get your sector bar open, well, nobody could relocate until the sector store was closed or something like that. Because basically, if you jumped from one sector to another sector that didn't open up the sector bar, then you didn't have access to the store to finish cashing in your points. You remember that?
Mm-hmm. It was a big pass. It never worked.
Yeah, sector store stuff. I mean, Yeah, that was kind of junk too, because there was just too many targets that paid out good raid points that didn't contribute to that. So
that was it. Everybody wanted to get the raid points, but didn't want to get the sector. The sector points because they didn't pay the good raid points.
Right. All right. Let me see here. So June. In June we had another retrofit pack, of course. And that one had like different groups, I guess, were added, cryo launchers, etc. Another VXP specialist pack was introduced that had like the Dante's Nova Storm, Stingray, Thresher, Hellstrike, Mastodon. Let It Burn, Time Loaded Campaign was also in June. The June event was called Abyss. And let me see, base relocation new features. So that was currently when that's when they expanded the base relocation feature too. Apparently, was in June. So basically, you were able to jump to any bookmarks that you had, alliance, anybody in your alliance you could jump to, that kind of thing.
That was a good feature they added.
That was definitely a positive, right?
That was a thumbs up.
And Jack Attack was added, and of course we did have more IRFs. So I think we were having IRFs every month, pretty much at that particular time.
Yeah.
And so that was it. That was kind of the big thing for June. The big thing in June, really, I think, was the base relocation feature. So, but I guess that's really all I got for the first 6 months. Well, let me see. Additional features. So, thank you, Whitestar, for putting this down.
There we go.
The glitch repair was finally fixed.
Is it?
Damn it.
That was the big fix for the glitch repair. I don't know exactly what month that happened in, but that was definitely a big one, and that really changed the game in a drastic way. And depending on who you are, you might think that was good, or you might think that was bad. Because I know there was a lot of people that were playing like
got used to using it, didn't they?
Yeah, there was a lot of people playing like Dirty Harry that didn't pay to play like Dirty Harry, and so I know a lot of Dirty Harrys were upset. And but yeah, a lot of the sectors quieted down quite a bit.
Yeah.
And we also got there was the base cloak efficiency cap was added, and that wasn't just for Reapers. A lot of people got assumed that was just for Reapers, but Reapers were the only thing at the time that were capable of reaching or exceeding 90 some odd % cloak efficiency, and they were pumping out guards like crazy without an ECM. Without an ECM, they were pumping out guards like crazy, and so. I know some folks try to blame our show for that, but we actually had nothing to do with the base cloak efficiency cap. I still feel, me personally, that they should have just actually addressed the issue head on, and fixed the math. The algorithm that they use to determine cloak efficiency in the game. I think they should have fixed that and not set a base cap. But I guess a lot of people complained. So a lot of people who coined Reapers weren't happy.
Yeah, and now we're one of them.
Yep. I had 2 fleets of Reapers.
Same.
Now we've got the Ghost Crawler instead, haven't we?
Now they're sitting dead in my dock and have been dead for about 2 months.
I got mine built and retrofitted to R10 the week before they brought that in.
Ooh, that had to hurt.
Yeah, I mean I didn't coin them. It was time. It was a lot
Yeah.
of time getting them up there and refitting, and then all of a sudden they brought that in, and I was just gutted. Really
So
was.
basically, you could have been building somewhere else.
Yeah, I've never used them.
Yeah. I guess somebody was asking about the cloak efficiency, Adam, I think, in the chat. And the cloak efficiency, had they changed the math, fixed the algorithm, it probably would have ended up being close to about the same as it is now with the cloak efficiency cap. But, of course, that would have applied to a lot more than just basic.
Your mic.
Your mic.
Headset.
They'll get it sorted.
Yeah, it takes me a second to
go
through all the clicks, so it does take me a second once I hear about it. But yeah, so the issue, I guess, if they would have fixed the math, the cloak efficiency would have been adjusted for every target, not just bases, and I think that may be why they went the cloak efficiency cap. But at the time when we had the FAT Forsaken Arena tournament, we were still using our own ships. You could have Reapers that were still 99% cloak efficient, in an arena tournament. I don't know if that would be really considered fair to somebody who had sonar on a ship. Against 99% cloak efficiency, the sonar actually had. No matter how much sonar you put on there, it could be circumvented with the 99% cloak efficiency. So.
Yeah, then we got this wonderful thing called thermal. So.
Yeah. Thermal was quite
I did a few FATs, and I can honestly say I never came across Reapers. People running Reaper fleets.
I think Thermal's been around for a good year now, so that wasn't released this year. It was released last year. Was it the Viper we had first with Thermal?
I know V2s, the Viper, Viper Interdictor, it had thermal.
Yeah. But between new ships being released and retrofits now, who even uses sonar anymore? You can get thermals up 75 plus.
Well, Frosty's is 85 or 90? 90.
Yeah, that's not even the biggest thermal in the game now. I think was it the Hunters? They have even more thermal than that.
No, the prototype Hunter's only 85.
Yeah.
The biggest one is Frosty.
Okay.
No, it's Visago, the Visago Hunter.
The flagship only Hunter. It's got more than the Frosty, I think.
That's it. Unless it's a kickside one, then it's got 100.
No, if it's kickside in that case, who's...
Yeah, if it's a kickside V2, it's got 100.
Yeah, sorry, I had to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I think I was just looking in chat. They said the Hellstar has 100 thermal.
Probably. I've still not won one yet.
Yeah. So again, with all these ships you can win and retrofit, who even uses sonar anymore at this point? Bring on all the cloaking efficiency you want. You come in against a thermal ship, you better be able to fire fast and get out of dodge quick.
Not necessarily, because Reaper's range with the solid fuel booster is 96, so you can fire most of the thermal with an ECM ship. By the way.
Yeah. The ECM stays on the surface the whole time, so you take out the ECM.
Yeah, but many players don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess I don't know if anybody on here's got anything else they want to talk about before we close the show out. Should I go down the line?
You can do. Somewhat new. Yeah.
All right. Well, nobody's jumping up, so I guess what I'll do is just go ahead and thank everybody for coming, joining the panel today. Thank you for everybody in the YouTube chat. We definitely appreciate your support, the support that we get every week, and it's been great. I've been getting lots of love in the game too. People saying that they appreciate the show and all that, and so I guess
I got a little love while we were on the air. Somebody just lost a set of draconian carriers in my channel.
All right.
Oh, okay. All right.
No.
Well, awesome. I guess. Go ahead. Was that extreme?
Huh? Oh, no, I had a random thought. This is more towards, if anyone in Kickside is watching this, I got a question for you guys. Why should I keep playing your game?
Yeah.
The UAVs were broken upon release, no surprise there. Instead of fixing the coaxials, you just changed the picture because you're assholes. The forsaken mission targets aren't working properly because there's one of the turrets, you click the target, your fleet stops just short, so you're getting fired up and not firing at them. I witnessed this a couple times, live streams, so I can get you the video if you really want it. There's another target, UAVs again. You target a specific missile, and the UAVs swarm it multiple times, no damage. I think I counted up to 6 times in one run. That was fun, so thanks for that damage, you assholes. And, oh yeah, I didn't go on a rant here. So, essentially, my question is, why should I keep playing your game and coining if you really want the money? If you can't even get it to run properly, let's not even get into the lag and just crapping out at random, because, oh, that's tons of fun, too.
That's your PC, that lagging. Sorry, but
I'll try it. God, because Kickside systems just run friggin' perfect all the time. So you're right, it's my fault. My bad.
And they run even better now that they added all that code in for the research and development.
Oh, thank you, research and development. Almost forgot that one.
Oh, no.
Okay, let's go on this rant now. So you guys have this research and development idea, great in theory. Of course, you have a lot of great theories, but God knows you can't implement them to save your own ass. Anyways, so let's see. It's supposed to sit there and make it so non-coining players can be competitive with the coining players, except for you made it a pain in the ass to sit there and research because it's 100,000 uranium just to get to level 1, but God forbid you actually find uranium in the first place because those things don't spawn worth a damn. And when they do spawn, you got a whole 30 seconds to find one before someone else gets to it, and once they're all gone, well, the bar's going to drop for you if they spawn again. So let's just move off that one. Okay, let's say you actually managed to get uranium to sit there and start the research. Good for you. You now have 48 hours to sit there and complete that research before some asshole in another sector decides to come and smash your base. So they can take 8 hours off of yours and... Or no, sorry, subtract 8 hours from theirs and add it onto yours because, you know, we got rid of that feature in the first place because nobody liked having 8 hours added to their research. But wait, according to one of the moderators, that 36-hour bubble is going to cover you for the 48 hours, not including the 8 that got added onto yours. Wait, oh, hold on, that doesn't make sense. That's not math at all. That's wrong. Wait, no. Sorry, gotta go back to elementary school math for that one, Corrado. Oh, wait, we're not supposed to mention names. Too late.
Was I holding you back?
Huh?
Was I holding you back?
Save me something, Max. Save me something.
Yeah. Sorry, So essentially, you came out with a theory or a product that's supposed to make non-coining players more competitive with the coining players, and completely botched the whole thing and just turned all the low levels into one of the most biggest targets ever. Before they were already the biggest targets ever for sector points and stuff. Okay, I'm good now. Thank you.
Yeah.
But I want to know how you really feel.
Yeah. Why should I keep playing your game if you can't get anything like that to work properly?
Let me jump in here. I have to go. I have a social engagement in 58 minutes. Good night, everybody. It was great being able to make the program this evening.
Roundtable.
Program this evening. Roundtable. Have a good evening, everybody.
See you.
Bye, Vlad.
See you, Vlad. Bye. Bye.
All right. Anybody else?
Anybody else need to add to that?
I dare someone to try and top that.
I'm still putting lines across my page here of all the stuff I was gonna say. You got most of it. Yeah. First.
Hey, if he slowed down, he probably could have done a whole hour show by himself.
Yeah.
But he did it in like 30 seconds, and he was
Well, it was
moving.
the end of the show.
Yeah.
It was the micro machine there for a minute.
Yeah.
Now I know why he hasn't got his camera on, because his face had probably been bright red saying it that fast. No time to
oxygen.
breathe. Yeah.
All right. All right, folks. Anybody else? If not, we're going to go ahead and close it out.
No, I'm done.
All right. Well, again, thanks everybody in the chat for coming on, and thanks everybody here on the panel for hopping on. And meet us again next Saturday. We're going to do the same thing. I think I'm actually going to be on call, but so I'm not quite sure who's going to host it just yet, but we will have one regardless, even if I do have to host it. So I guess I'll see y'all next Saturday. Take care.
Well, thank you.
See you later.
Good night, all.
See you later.
See ya.
Bye-bye.